We have Stage 4 coming out soon. We don't know what Stage 4 is going to entail. Educated guess, I'm going to guess here is finest cards. Finest cards are cards from the previous season, so this past season, the best players from that team. That is my guess. I don't know if it's going to be that. We might have a choice pack of some sort. Nothing's been revealed. So this is just a prediction video of all the finest cards, one per each team. There obviously can be multiple cards. I just picked one from each team. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree, disagree, what finest cards you would like to see. And hopefully it's a choice pack because we don't even know yet. We don't know anything that's going on with it with Stage 4. Let's jump right into it. We're going to start out in the NL West. I'm going to start with the San Francisco Giants. There are a few players here that I considered making this finest card. The one that stands out the most is the one that's been talked about the most this year. It's going to be a 97 overall Mike Yastrzemski. This could have went a few different directions. Another outfielder, Alex Dickerson, had a good year. Brandon Belt had a really good year, hit 309, had 9 home runs, 30 RBIs. But Yastrzemski, he hit 297. He had 10 home runs, 35 RBIs. There were no pitchers really on the Giants that really took off or did anything special. So I guess you can give Kevin Gausman some notoriety just because he did pitch pretty well. But if they do a finest for each team, I think the San Francisco Giants are getting Yastrzemski, and we're going to go with a 97 overall. We're going to go with the Arizona Diamondbacks next. Again, a player that stands out the most from this team. There weren't many cards to choose from for a hitting standpoint, just because Cole Calhoun had 16 home runs. He had a good year, only hit 226. Starling Marte ended up getting traded to the Marlins, so he is not actually considered. David Peralta had a good year, hit 300, hit 5 home runs. But we're going to go with the pitcher. We're going to go with Zach Gallen. He had a very good year, 2.75 ERA. He was 3-2. He pitched 72 innings, had 82 strikeouts. We're going to give him a 97 overall. Merrill Kelly also had a pretty good year at a 2.59 ERA. All right, over to the LA Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw had a really good year. He had a 2.16 ERA. We're not going to go with another pitcher here. We pick a lot of pitchers for this. He did pitch 58 in the third innings. He did have 62 strikeouts. Dustin May was a nice little rookie that came in and did very well. We're going to go with Corey Seager. Corey Seager, he hit 307. He had 15 home runs and 41 RBIs. So out of all of the hitters, he definitely had the best overall season. You could go a different direction with the other two, like Clayton Kershaw, Dustin May. Moving over to the Rockies. When you think of the Rockies, you're thinking of Nolan Arenado, you're thinking of Trevor Story, you're thinking of Charlie Blackmon. Those are the big names that you think of. They actually had some pretty good pitchers this year. They had 2 pitchers that will be considered for this finest card. It's German Marquez and Antonio Senzatella. Both of them had under 4 ERAs. And if you're pitching in Coors Field, under a 4 ERA is very, very good. Senzatella had a 3.44 ERA. Marquez had a 3.75 ERA. Player that stands out the most on this team is going to be Trevor Story. So that's what we're going to go with here, a 97 overall Trevor Story. He ended up hitting 289, 11 home runs, 28 RBIs with 15 stolen bases. Arenado didn't hit the greatest. He had 253, had 8 home runs. And then Charlie Blackmon is of note. He did hit 303 with 6 home runs and 42 RBIs. But we're going to go with the shortstop here. We're going to go with Trevor Story. And then the last team is the San Diego Padres. San Diego Padres have quite a few players here. Fernando Tatis Jr. was the hit this year. He was the most notable. Manny Machado had a really good season. Dinelson Lamet, I think that's how you say his name. He had a 2.09 ERA. He pitched 69 innings exactly. He had 93 strikeouts. He was 3-1. Lamet, though, was just so dominant with his strikeout numbers compared to his innings pitched. All right, let's move over to the NL Central. The guy that really stands out, most of us know, their pitching staff is what they're known for. Trevor Bauer, Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, even Tyler Mahle had a very good year. But Trevor Bauer is going to get this one. He's going to have a 99 overall finest card here. He had a 1.73 ERA. He had 73 innings, exactly 100 strikeouts, only 17 walks in 73 innings. So he deserves a 99 overall based on those numbers. All right, let's move over to the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs, again, when you think of the Cubs, you're thinking of Javi Baez, Anthony Rizzo, you're thinking of Kyle Schwarber, you're thinking of Chris Bryant, the big names. This year, the pitchers really stood out. Kyle Hendricks, Yu Darvish, both of these guys really had great years overall. We're going to give this to Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish had a 2.01 ERA. He had 76 innings and 93 strikeouts. With Yu Darvish, we're going to give him a 99 overall. 99 Yu Darvish could be very gross. There's been talk, and a lot of people do know this, but he throws 11 pitches. 11 pitches. So if they somehow incorporate a 6th pitch for this card, which he does deserve because it's well known that he throws a ton of pitches. Moving over to the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pittsburgh Pirates were tough this year. One of the worst records, I think the worst record in the league. One that stood out the most is actually a rookie that came up, Brian Hayes. Ended the year hitting 376 in 95 plate appearances. He had 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. He was a little spark plug towards the end of the year. We'll give him a 97. He did hit 376, but he didn't have as many plate appearances as the other guys. So he could technically get 98, 99, depending on how they look at this, but we're going to go with a 97 Brian Hayes for the Pirates. Moving over to the St. Louis Cardinals, a lot of good pitching. They got Jack Flaherty, Dakota Hudson. Adam Wainwright had a very good year, actually. He had a 3.15 ERA. The one that stood out here is Paul Goldschmidt, 304 batting average, 6 home runs, 21 RBIs. Paul Goldschmidt deserves this. We're going to give him a 96 overall finest card. Moving over to the Brewers. When you think of the Brewers, you're thinking of Christian Yelich. Corbin Burns had a really good year, a 2.11 ERA. The one we're going to go with is actually a Devin Williams. He pitched 27 innings. He had 53 strikeouts, a .33 ERA on the season. We're going to give him a 99 overall based on that. Corbin Burns is absolutely deserving of this as well. Trey Turner had a very good year, hit 335, 12 home runs, 41 RBIs with 12 stolen bases. Juan Soto is the one we're actually going to go with. He hit 351, 13 home runs, 37 RBIs. A 99 overall Juan Soto finest would be. The only one that really stands out is this Juan Soto and Trey Turner. Either one of these guys could get this finest card, but we'll go with the Juan Soto. There's really no surprise with the New York Mets. He gets one every year. It seems like he's just so consistent. Anytime you think of the Mets, you're thinking of Jacob deGrom, and that's exactly who we're going to pick here is a Jacob deGrom finest card. He had a 2.38 ERA, 68 innings, 104 strikeouts. 104 strikeouts, that's insane. Michael Conforto could technically get here as well. He had 322, he had 9 home runs, 31 RBIs. Atlanta Braves had a surprising season actually from a pitcher, Max Fried. He had a 2.25 ERA. He pitched 56 innings, had 50 strikeouts. He was 7-0 on the season. We're going to go with Freddie Freeman as the finest card. We're going to give him a 99 overall. 99 overall Freddie Freeman. He hit 341. He had 13 home runs, 53 RBIs. Freddie Freeman deserves it. Max Fried is another one that you can consider for this. They had JT Realmuto, Rhys Hoskins, big names, Didi Gregorius, Bryce Harper. Alec Boehm came up, had a pretty good year. He could definitely be considered for this finest card. We're going to go with their veteran who's probably been on the team the longest for this team, but it's going to be Aaron Nola. He had a 3.28 ERA, 71 in the third innings pitched, 96 strikeouts. He wasn't even 5-5 on the season. Bryce Harper could be considered for this. He did have 13 home runs, 33 RBIs. Didi Gregorius had a pretty good year, 284, 10 home runs, 40 RBIs. All right, the last one for the NL East is the Miami Marlins. Miami Marlins had a few young guys that actually showed up and did pretty well. 2 pitchers, actually 3 pitchers. There are 3 starting pitchers here. Sixto Sanchez came up late. He's only 21 years old, but he throws 100 miles an hour. Sandy Alcantara, who actually we are going to choose for the finest here. He's also young, only 24 years of age. He also throws 100 miles an hour. He pitched 42 innings. He had 39 strikeouts. He had a 3 even ERA. Miguel Rojas hit 304. Not many numbers here. 255, 11 home runs, 38 RBIs for Brian Anderson, who I think got a finest card last year. So switching up to a pitcher, we're going to go with Sandy Alcantara. Be a fun little card to use for sure. We'll give him a 97 overall. American League, let's go to the AL West. AL West is stacked with a lot of young talent. We're going to start with the Seattle Mariners. Kyle Lewis. We're going to give this to Kyle Lewis. We're going to give him a 95 overall. He had 262, had 11 home runs, 28 RBIs, only 5 stolen bases. Offensively, he was the only bright spot really on this team. Austin Nola had a pretty good year. He hit 306 with 5 home runs, 19 RBIs. Pitching wise, they did have Marco Gonzalez, went 7-2 at a 3.1 ERA, 69 2/3 innings with 64 strikeouts. Justice Sheffield also had a good year, 3.58 ERA, but between those 3, we're going to give it to Kyle Lewis, a 95 overall finest. Heading over to Oakland, offensively, Matt Olson comes to mind. Matt Chapman, he got injured, so he was done for the year. Ramon Laureano had a really good year last year. Didn't really do much this year, but we're going to go with a pitcher here. Actually, Chris Bassett had a really good year. He had a 2.29 ERA. He had a 63 innings pitched with 55 strikeouts, but we got to go with their closer, Liam Hendricks. We'll give him a 99 overall. He had a 1.78 ERA. He had 14 saves. He had 25 1/3 innings pitched with 37 strikeouts. He was pretty much locked down once he came in the game. Houston Astros, you're thinking Altuve, you're thinking Springer, you're thinking Alex Bregman. All these guys had decent years, but George Springer's the one's going to stand out here. He had a 265 average, had 14 home runs, 32 RBIs. So we'll give George Springer a 96 for his finest. There's really no other one else on this team that should get this finest card. So we're going to go with a 97 overall Mike Trout. Mike Trout had, for the shortened season, he had an off year technically, even though he still had really good numbers. Average-wise, he was down a little bit. He still had the power. He still had the RBIs. He had 281, had 17 home runs, 46 RBIs. Anthony Rendon had a good year as well, 286, 9 home runs, 31 RBIs. Pitching-wise, Dylan Bundy was actually a nice little surprise for them. I hope they do some sort of pack so you can choose it. Obviously, out of these, Mike Trout's the easy pick here, but I hope they give multiple finest cards for these teams. Hopefully it is finest cards. We technically don't even know yet. Heading over to the Texas Rangers. This one's an easy one, to be honest. He went from a gold to a diamond pretty early on. I think he was one of the first ones to turn diamond. It's going to be a 95 win. Pitching wise, no one really stood out there. Offensively, obviously you got the big names. Joey Gallo, he only hit 181, 10 home runs, 26 RBIs. Rougned Odor hit 10 home runs, 30 RBIs. Pitching wise, Lucas Giolito threw no-hitter, Dallas Keuchel. They got a good core here. This is actually very exciting to be a White Sox fan. Overall numbers, we're going to have to give it to Jose Abreu. He's in the running, obviously, for MVP of the AL. He had 317, 19 home runs, 60 RBIs. He has a very quiet, good season every single year. Obviously, he's getting more notoriety here. Obviously, he's having one of the best seasons in the league overall, so they're looking at him a lot more, especially being in the MVP voting. So we'll give him a 99 overall. Jose Abreu, finest card. This one's an easy one, Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz, I feel like, continues just to hit better and better as he gets older. Not even better, just he's 39 years old. This season, he had 303, 16 home runs, 33 RBIs. Pitching-wise, Kenta Maeda had a really good year. He had a 2.7 ERA, 66 2/3 innings with 80 strikeouts. He was 6-1. So he could technically be in the running for a finest card for the Minnesota Twins. Keep an eye out for him because he could definitely get one based on those numbers. Detroit Tigers. This is a tough one. Being a Tigers fan has got to be kind of tough right now. A lot of young guys being in the AL Central. You got the White Sox. You got the Twins. Kansas City Royals are scrappy. The Indians are good. It's got to be tough to be a Tigers fan based on that division. We're going to give this one to Jeimer Candelario. He had 297. He had 7 home runs. 29 RBIs. We'll give him a 94 overall. Jonathan Scope also had a good year. He hit 278 with 8 home runs and 23 RBIs. Pitching wise, they had some young guys come up. Based on this season, I'm going to give it to Jeimer Candelario. We'll give him a 94 overall. Moving over to the Kansas City Royals at the Central, the one that stood out the most is Salvador Perez, a catcher. He had 333 at 11 home runs and 32 RBIs. Whit Merrifield is also a big name that's always consistent. He hit 282, 9 home runs, 12 stolen bases. So he could definitely be in the running for this as well for a finest card, but we'll give it to Salvador Perez. Cleveland Indians, Jose Ramirez is the main one that stands out. 292, 17 home runs, 10 stolen bases. We're going to go with the pitcher, though. We're going to go with Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber had a 1.63 ERA. He had 77 in the third innings pitched, 122 strikeouts. We're going to give him a 99 overall based on those numbers. A finest 99 overall Shane Bieber, I think, would be a very fun card to use. Working our way to the AL East, we'll start with the Boston Red Sox. Verdugo could actually be considered for a finest card based on his numbers. He had 308, had 6 home runs, 15 RBIs. We're going to end up giving this to Xander Bogaerts. He had 300, he had 11 home runs and 28 RBIs. Rafael Devers could also be a card to be considered. He had 263, 11 home runs, 43 RBIs. Pitching wise, Chris Sale got hurt. That's their main go-to. Again, we'll just give this one to Xander Bogaerts based on his year. All right, New York Yankees. A few names stand out here. Luke Voit, DJ LeMahieu, and Luke Voit. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. We're going to give this one to Luke Voit just based on his home run numbers, based on his power numbers. This could easily go to DJ LeMahieu. I just wanted to pick a first baseman. We probably should have went with DJ LeMahieu to get another second baseman in here, but Luke Voit had 22 home runs and 52 RBIs. He led the league in home runs. DJ LeMahieu, though, 364, 10 home runs, 27 RBIs. Pitching-wise, Garrett Cole, he could obviously be considered for this finest card. Garrett Cole had a 2.84 ERA. He had 94 strikeouts in 73 innings. So between Garrett Cole, DJ LeMahieu, Luke Voit, we're going to go with Luke Voit just for another first baseman. Not that we don't have enough already. Toronto Blue Jays are a fun team to watch. We're going to give this one to Teoscar Hernandez. He had 289. He had 16 home runs, 34 RBIs. Pitching-wise, Ryu had a really good year. Quiet year. I didn't know much about what he was doing, but he had a 2.69 ERA, 67 innings pitched with 72 strikeouts. We're going to go with Teoscar Hernandez for this one. We'll give him a 97 overall based on his numbers. Moving on to the Tampa Bay Rays. But for this card, you could go Blake Snell. He had 3.24 ERA. He had 50 innings pitched with 63 strikeouts. Other than that, the other one that stands out that we're going to give it to is Brandon Lowe, Brandon Lowe, however you say that. He had 269, 14 home runs, 37 RBIs, good power numbers from the second base position. We'll give him a 97 overall card. Nice little power bat. He just had a Topps Now card drop, I believe. I think he had like 120 plus power versus right-handed batting. So 14 home runs, 37 RBIs, 269 average. This would be a fun little card for the Tampa Bay Rays. A 97 overall Brandon Lowe. Baltimore Orioles. We're going to go with Ryan Mountcastle here. Came up, he only had 140 plate appearances. He had 333, had 5 home runs, 23 RBIs. Hanser Alberto hit 283, had 3 home runs. We'll give it to Ryan Mountcastle. We'll give him a 95 overall. Nunez hit 256, he had 12 home runs, 31 RBIs. He could obviously be consideration for this card. Anthony Santander had a good year, 261, 11 home runs, 32 RBIs. Between those two might actually get it, but I just went with Ryan Mountcastle. That's going to do it. Those are my predictions for Stage 4. We don't know what's coming out for Stage 4 yet. I just believe they will be finest cards. It makes the most sense where the game's at and where Stage 4 is heading, just based on the cards they're releasing right now. They could go a different direction. These are just my predictions. Hopefully I'm correct, because finest cards are a lot of fun to use. If you guys agree, disagree, let me know down below who you think will be a finest card. If you guys enjoy this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you leave a like. Yeah, but let me know. This is a fun little video. It took a lot of work actually, because I designed every single one of these cards. It took a long time, but I enjoy doing design work. So social media links are in the description below. I want to thank you guys for watching, and as always, hopefully I will see you in the next video.